Hey guys, what's up? Ollie here. After a lengthy break, I'm back with Game Room Hero. And today, we're talking Titanfall. This is easily one of the best new games of 2014, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on what makes Titanfall stand above the rest. Let's get started.
Scientists have discovered a way to fold space and time.
The IMC and militia are at war over something? Rebellion? Maybe independence? That's about all I can really remember from Titanfall's unfortunately forgettable campaign. It's really just a bunch of dressed up multiplayer matches with additional dialogue that you'll often miss if you're not paying express attention to the top right of your screen, where most of the action takes place. It's really too bad, as the idea of a multiplayer campaign is really quite intriguing and, if done right, could be a lot of fun. Maybe if more cutscenes had been used in between matches, much like Conquer Live and Reloaded did almost a decade ago, it would have held a bit more stay in my mind. As it stands though, Titanfall's campaign isn't worth the time aside from unlocking some achievements and getting the Ogre and Strider class Titans. It's clear that Respawn and EA have quite a bit of work to do here. That said though, it remains an area of immense potential, and I hope the idea is expanded further. It's just not really worth your time as it stands. In terms of overall graphical fidelity, Titanfall isn't particularly good looking on any platform. In fact, running off of a heavily modified version of Valve's Source engine, the game looks dated from the get-go. The curious 792p resolution on Xbox One doesn't help much either. That said, Respawn has stated the Xbox One version may see its resolution upped, but this is seeming increasingly unlikely. Simply put, the game prioritizes performance over graphical fidelity, which is the right choice to make. It's just a pity we can't have our cake and eat it too. The sound design, on the other hand, is quite good. All the guns have a nice pop, and you can feel the incredible scale of the Titans. I have no complaints here, other than that the announcers can get very annoying at times. I don't need to be reminded my Titan is ready every 2 seconds when I'm just trying to play as a pilot.
It's on the way. Stand by for Titanfall.
I wish there were an option to toggle this. All said though, the presentation isn't bad. Hopefully by the time Titanfall 2 inevitably becomes a reality, we'll have something a bit nicer looking. For now, it's passable. While Titanfall isn't the total reinvention of shooter conventions that maybe some were expecting, the game takes some much-needed strides in pushing the genre forward. Yeah, you still customize a class, choosing a loadout with whatever guns and abilities you'd like to bear, but you have two very different vehicles with which to commence your virtual warfare. On that note, the first obvious change in Titanfall versus other shooters is in how it handles player movement. As one of the game's pilots, you don't march across the battlefield, but rather you soar through the air at incredible velocities, showering down death upon your opponents in a moment of childlike bliss that is quite unlike anything I've experienced in other shooters. Conversely, the Titans from which the game gets its namesake have a real sense of weight to them that feels palpable, especially in the lumbering Ogre class. That's not to say the Titans lack any sort of variety, though, with the nimble, weak Strider class dashing around the Ogres at a relentless pace, and the default Atlas class acting as a nice stopgap between the two. It's by using all these different tools of destruction that Titanfall never gets boring. In addition, through its thoughtful level design and clever use of AI-controlled grunts, Titanfall always keeps you moving and never feels unbalanced. The one exception to this rule being the burn card system, which has you select cards in hands of 3 before every game to act as a sort of one-life perks. These cards do any number of things, from granting the player faster movement speed to just giving you better guns. which is cool, but it's with this system that the game ultimately feels a little unbalanced at times, due to the card's random nature. That said, they remain very fun to use, which is really what matters. I just would have preferred more of an equal playing field. So with everything that's been said, is Titanfall the next big step in shooters? Well, it's a start. But is Titanfall a fantastic game? Absolutely. If you're into shooters at all, this is a game you should try. And if you're an Xbox One owner, it's an absolute must. I can't praise this game enough for finally breathing some much needed life into the crowded market of online shooters. And above all else, Titanfall is simply a very polished and absolutely joyful experience. That's why I'm giving Titanfall a 4 out of 5.